there isn't a villain. Would you say there's a villain in this film? Because in the log line, I'm trying to think who's the antagonist here. Is it the girl? Is it the girlfriend?
No, actually, this is really funny. The antagonist of the film, because like in dramatic literature, antagonist can be anything. It could be a person, it could be the society, it could be like situation, it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
So in this film, I feel like the antagonist, we don't have a like definite one. It's like the
Hmm.
society, it's like the expectations, I would say.
You you
Yeah.
you have an antagonist in the logline. See, it's their relationship is the antagonist because something go wrong about that.
Ah, so their relationship, this is the bit that's the antagonist. So that's the thing that goes wrong, and that's the thing that's causing the conflict is the relationship. Because really, the film is a big discussion about love. It's about
Yeah,
what is love.
yeah.
Can you find is true love real? Is it not real? That kind of thing.
But it's not the relationship. It's because like when we read the screenplay or watch the film, um, the character that plays Summer, she states in the beginning that she's not looking for a relationship, right?
Dude, I'm just about to get to that bit. Yeah, that's a really good point.
So
Um,
it's not a relationship. It's actually it's most some kind of an internal conflict of Tom, of how he expects a relationship would go, and just it doesn't happen in his way. And like it's like the antagonist of the film is like that false believes that, for example, that person possesses about this relationship. Maybe this is the antagonist. Hi, Randall.
Hi.
Hi, Randall.
Hey,
Sorry, it took you a while
Hi.
to be let in. I
Oh,
I
that's
couldn't see my
okay.
screen.
yes,
Yeah, I
but
can
you see,
see.
Cool.
at one point in the movie, so Summer start, she don't want engage in a relationship, etc. She's honest and clear. So it's Tom hoping or maybe having illusion. But at one point, she duped. She has duped, and she has also an inner conflict, wondering maybe this guy is good for me, but she isn't sure. But well, it's the conclusion of the movie. She
Mm,
said, "Yes, I wanted to go towards you, but I didn't feel the spark." And she said she feels the spark with the other man. She marries, so there is
yeah.
some misunderstanding rather than bad people.
Mm. Absolutely. Yeah, I love the end scene actually, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit. So would you say, so Randall, we're talking about what the conflict of the film is and who the villain is. Have you seen the film, Randall?
Yeah, I watched the film and read the screenplay before the call.
Oh, brilliant. What did you think of the film?
I loved the film. I thought it was just so cute. It did make
Yeah,
me sad though, because I just wish they could have like, ended up together. But
I know, I know. That's kind of the point though, isn't it? Is to make you
yeah,
feel, to get you thinking at the end, isn't it? About,
I
and if you've ever been in a relationship before that you're in love with, but then it just didn't work, you can really relate to this film, I think.
yeah,
It's home.
I feel like the villain is maybe just like life. I don't know that there is necessarily a villain. I just feel like it's meant to be a realistic portrayal of sometimes like the one person like that could have been the one, but then for the other party it's just not reciprocated as deeply.
Exactly, yeah. We were just saying actually about that they're both fighting this inner conflict with themselves because they're both having a debate. Actually, we'll get to this in a minute. There's a scene where when they first talk to each other, they're kind of debating if love is real or not, and that's kind of what the conflict I think is of the story. It's basically a big discussion about if love is real or not, and throughout the film, Tom is trying to figure out if she's if she loves him back or not. Is that the conflict? Like he's trying to figure out if she's feeling the same way as he feels towards her, and yeah, and it's led to believe that she loves him, but then ends up going
Yeah,
wrong.
the big question in the film is that, okay, is she a girlfriend or not?
Exactly.
Like this is like the biggest question that is trying to be answered.
Exactly. Okay, so if we go to the opening pages, so if you guys read the screenplays, I'm sure you saw these pages. It starts off with this page saying, "Note: the following is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to persons living or dead is purely coincidental." Then you turn the page, it says, "Especially you, Jenny Beckman," and then the third page, "Bitch."
Why?
Or Jenny.
She isn't in the movie, Jenny.
Clearly something personal with the writer.
And it's so
Um,
funny because we don't have any character but that name. But
exactly.
but it shows like the writer is exactly. I mean, it's like a irony in the first page. Like this is not about, but this is like about the real people, and it's coming from real experience. It's a
Exactly.
funny screenplay. Yeah,
And because it's a romantic comedy, as a screenwriter, you want to set the tone as early as possible. When you're giving your
yeah,
screenplay to someone to read, they want to know, they want to feel the tone. What's the feel? This is such a great way to tell the reader, hey, this is going to be funny. You
yeah,
know, this will be
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
I have to mention it's a red herring because he said the woman is bitch. So we expect Summer will be a bad girl in the movie, but in fact, at the end, it's not the case. So it's really a red herring here.
Good point. And the whole film, the whole story is told from the man's point of view. So it's his perspective. And if you're watching it through his perspective, you're going to think this girl is bad. But actually, it's quite a subjective point of view. It's actually, if you
Yeah,
think about it, they both have their own sides to the story.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't think either
exactly.
character does anything wrong, unnecessarily. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
but at one point, maybe he can think that, but not at the very end. Uh, if he ends to understand her, and it's a very happy ending as he meet another woman after.
Hmm.
So he has no reason to be angry about Summer at this point.
Exactly. Yeah, good point. Just another thing that came to my mind, the film is called 500 Days of Summer. And if you haven't seen the film before, you're going to think it's taking place throughout summer, but it's not. The girl is called Summer. So it's called 500 Days of Being with Summer. So the title kind of gives away the ending, if you think about it. Does that make sense?
yeah, because it's like you see that it's gonna end.
Yeah, there's only 500 days of summer.
It's
So, and
only,
it's in brackets. You know,
yeah,
so the title's called Days of Summer, so Days of Being with Summer, but then in brackets it's like there's only 500 of them.
yeah,
Um, okay, and when you turn the next page, it starts with this brackets here. So this is giving you a timestamp of whereabouts we are in the story, because it's non-linear. So it starts off with simple black and white credit rolls to big stars. I'm in love with a girl. Is that the song? Is that a song? I'm in love with a girl. Um, yeah,
um,
that's yeah.
I
It
think,
probably is.
yeah, the film is filled with pop culture, with American pop culture,
Yeah,
especially music. Yeah,
I was just thinking, are we allowed to write songs, but the name of the songs that we want in the screenplay, or do you think we should leave those out?
I've
Because
been
I
I've
see
told
some.
seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it in screenplays that they use that before.
I've seen it
yeah,
in space as well, I feel like, but I remember once I did it and someone told me I should not do that or something.
yeah. I've had someone say that to me as well. They
No,
say because
but guys, this is important because the name of the song and the contest the content of the song is relevant to the theme and the scene.
oh
So
yeah,
it's really important for the writer to mention what song, which song is playing, because like if you like look in details, like in different scenes with different themes or happenings or conflict, or like for example how it's going in the scene, the song is is directly connected to the scene. So
hmm,
I think it wouldn't be. I mean, like it wouldn't work if the writer wouldn't say what song or from what for
yeah.
example band or singer.
So if it's essential to the plot, to the story, then you should have it in there, basically. But if
It's
it's
like
not,
it's like a theme helper.
okay,
It
got
helps
it.
you out with the theme. Because like it's not plot based because we see what's happening, but the writer uses the music because as you
Yeah,
guys see, we are encountered with a cliche um romance film, but it had been hyped up, it had been amplified by, for example, this kind of a narrative with a timeline, non-linear timeline narrative, and like this um, pop culture references in all of
yeah.
the screenplay and the songs. So the writer actually uses all of them to amplify some certain aspects to make it more interesting or different from all those cliche stories.
I get it. And just that made me think of something. One of the later 30-day writing challenges, one of the prompts is going to be you have to add a pop culture reference to the script, which I think will be a
Uh-huh.
really good one to have. So I'm going to add
Nice,
that in one of the later screenwriting challenges.
nice. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so I'm in love with the girl. When all is said and done, up comes a single number in parenthesis, like so, 478, and then it fades up on exterior park day. For a few seconds, we watch a man 20s and a woman 20s on a park bench. Their names are Tom and Summer. Neither one says a word. So obviously the picture up here is what's happening. Close on her hand, covering his. Notice the wedding ring. No words are spoken. Tom looks at her the way every woman wants to be looked at. A distinguished voice begins to speak to us. This is a story of boy meets girl. And yeah, that's the very, very opening image. It's those two sat together and then they're holding hands. So
yeah.
what's that telling us as an opening? If you're an audience member, what do you think this is going to be about? Like, do you think this is a good opening to a screenplay?
I think it shows like the like theme and tone immediately, but it's like a romance movie. Like it shows the genre.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. It tells us exactly, what we're getting ourselves into. I even put here, we are given an idea for the visual feel and tempo for the story. And of course, we are also introduced to our two characters. And we think they're in love, but this is day 478. So this is one of the last days. And we go back to the scene at the end of the film, don't we? And it is in a different context. Okay, so boy meets girl, and then the second half is interior conference room. So the boy is Tom Hansen. He sits at a very long rectangular conference table. The walls are lined with uh, framed blow-up size greeting cards. Tom, dark hair and blue eyes, wears a t-shirt under his sport coat and Adidas tennis shoes to balance out the corporate dress code. He looks pretty bored. And then the narrator says, the boy, Tom Hansen of Margate, New Jersey, grew up believing that he'd never truly be happy until the day he met his soulmate. So the narrator talks about how Tom believes he will never be happy until he meets the
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Um,
Would you consider that as a lazy writing?
oh, um, it is lazy because it's telling us something that we can probably see for ourselves.
Yeah,
But I
and it's a
think,
good thing, right? It's a hard thing to show. Like, how would you visually show that a person like believes in soulmate without dialogue? How would you show that with action line? How would you
well,
show
you
that with, for example,
Well, you can watch the character feeling lonely going back to his apartment. He's by himself. He watches pictures on TV. He sees a romantic film. He looks a bit sad. Like you can tell
yeah.
that.
No, for example, I was thinking about this scene, and let me know what you think. For example, he's bored in a meeting, right? And he like looks he like across the window, across the
Yeah.
room, right? So he sees a pigeon, a lone pigeon,
Oh,
and then another pigeon comes, and like he has this like beautiful smile, like two pigeons are kissing. I don't know, like interval,
yeah.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
like he's memorized by the picture, right? It would say that this person is a hopeless romantic, wouldn't it? Just to have the narrator, and this is so funny because the narrator is like in the I believe it's just in the beginning, just a bit in the middle and the ending, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
is. Yeah.
I mean,
It's not. It's
the
yeah.
narrator is not that even influential in the story.
Which is why I personally think I don't mind the narrator, because it's not throughout the story. I think it's more of a stylistic choice. Like, we don't need it there, but I think it's part of the style of the film.
If you don't need it, you should cut it.
Yeah, maybe. Do you guys agree? Do you think the narrator is necessary, or do you think, or side is thinking that we don't need the narrator?
I like the narrator. I don't know if I would say we need it, but then I
Hmm.
also don't know. To be honest, I don't know how we would have got like all the exposition about the backstory we needed to know about Tom and Summer, like going into the story. I don't know how we would
Absolutely.
Randall, you're absolutely right, and this is what I'm saying, because like exposition is so important, but the way that we do the exposition in the screenplay and the film are really important.
Yeah.
We can use, for example, as you said, as a narrator to tell everything about that person, that actually takes out that challenges of storytelling and visual storytelling. That cinema is basically usually is a medium for visual storytelling. So actually, this is exactly what I'm telling. Like the expositionary scenes, they can happen in more smarter, more interesting way. Would you say that?
Yeah, well, that's true. I guess you could have been more creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind the laziness personally, but I don't know, like it just works for me. I just think it's like,
Yeah. So my opinion is narrator, voiceover, etc. is mostly a writer. This is because as audience people, I think they like that. When I was a child, or a young man, there was a famous French actor, Jean Rochefort. In every movie he made, he was always the narrator of the story. And I always loved that, hear his voice, telling what's happened, etc. So I'm okay with the narrator telling all the thing now, and also keep in mind it wins a lot of time, because the meat of the story isn't that. So we need to go fast on just throw the narrator in and up it's done. On his text is good. It's a good teasing. Just the first scene is a good teasing. We know we are at the end of the 500 days, but there are still 2 days. So even if things go wrong, maybe something can happen after. We don't know.
Very important, yeah.
It's teasing. Everything is teasing in this. Just think, I'm curious, and it's just about the word on the page. It's really strange how he writes that. He starts by introducing a man and woman with the age. Why he do that? Because just after he say their name are Tom and Summer. Well, I would just write Tom and Summer. It will the line. But we could also say Tom and Summer in the text, but okay, it don't say us. It's man and woman. And even weird thing just after, you see next scene, the one, the boy is Tom Henson, and he cap again the name. It's a very strange character introduction he made here.
They recapitalized the name, yeah. Yeah, that's.
And see, there even the description of Tom is only in the conference room when we see him in first scene on in something logical, but we should see how he is already at this time. I don't have opinion if it's good or bad. It's just I find that curious.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Curious. I think that's a good way. This is giving me Woody Allen vibes. If you guys have watched some of his earlier films from the 70s, like there's a narrator, it's introducing to us boy meets girl. And I love Woody Allen films, so I feel like this has definitely taken influence from those kind of films from the 70s. So that's why I was saying it feels more of a stylistic choice, this kind of way of introducing the characters and using the narrator. But yeah, it was a good points. Some good points you guys made. Okay, let's keep going. So we have the introduction of Tom, and then it cuts to preteen Tom. Oh no, this is not quite. So preteen Tom sits alone on his bed, engrossed in a movie. His walls are covered in posters of obscured bands. From the TV, we hear Elaine, Elaine. So that's obviously from the film The Graduate, if you've not seen it. Yeah, this belief stemmed from early exposure to sad British pop music and a total misreading of the movie The Graduate. Which is quite funny. I love The Graduate. When I was a
Yeah.
teenager, that was my favorite film, The Graduate.
Wow.
And then it cuts to Summer. So interior office cubicle, which is her here. The girl is Summer Finn. She files folders and answers phones in a plain white office. She has cropped blonde hair, even though she doesn't have, almost like a boy's, but almost like a boy's. Oh, but her face is feminine and pretty enough to get away with it. And then the narrator says, the girl, Summer Finn of Shinnecock, Michigan, did not share this belief. And then it cuts to a bathroom, but in the film it's her bedroom. Teenage Summer stares at herself in the mirror. Her hair extends down to her lower back. Since the disintegration of her parents' marriage, she'd only loved two things. The first was her long blonde hair. She picks up scissors from the counter and begins to slice. The second was how easily she could cut it off and feel nothing. So that's quite a funny little scene. And it's interesting because it gives us context why she doesn't believe in love, which I think is quite important to have, maybe. Because she doesn't believe in love, basically. And it tells us here, basically, clearly her parents got a divorce or something. And that's
Yeah.
probably why she has this belief. So I think that's quite interesting. It probably adds to the character a bit more.
And initially the conflict of the center of the story center. So one person that believes in love, another doesn't.
Exactly. So straight
Now,
away, the film establishes the conflict
yes,
and what
exactly.
they're both fighting against, like what they both believe in. They believe in different things, and we know where they're about to meet. Obviously, the film is telling us they're about to meet. So
Yeah.
so it's already making us feel like there's anticipation, like, oh, what's going to happen when they meet? Are they going to fall in love? Are they not? And that's important for every screenplay you write. What are you making your audience anticipate to happen?
And
Yeah.
I want to say something in the beginning. Beside that, the anticipation that Randall said that we know that we are dealing with some kind of a romance film.
Yeah.
It's a great hook.
Great hook, yeah.
Yeah, because like we see two person and you can see that they have some feelings for each other, and now we are thinking we are wondering, are they going to end up together, and how
Exactly.
they have, I mean, what journey they had to get to this place. Now with initially this amazingly completely 100% opposite beliefs about true love and love doesn't exist, we are ready to have our inciting incident and the whole story of these two beliefs just colliding with each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Because
see here, it's the irony of the movie. The girl who don't believe in love is the first one to find it.
yes.
Yeah, and see about we were speaking about narrator line, but narrator line are so good here. I didn't watch it. I don't remember the movie, The Graduate, but it doesn't matter. The line was good for me. See the line. Did not share this belief. It fall like a guillotine blade slash. We know. Oh, the story will be spacey starting from that. And then what she loves the most in her life is her hair, but she cut them. The narrator line are really good here.
It's really good. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Kind of sets up the character, what they're about, what they're like. Yeah. And here it says on the right side of the screen, Tom continues to listen to boring presentations, and on the left, Summer answers a call. So it's literally a split screen, I think, yeah, of those two together. And from this point, we've established what they're all about. And then it just to finish this little sequence, the narrator says Tom meets Summer on January 8th in a San Francisco office building. In an instant, he will know she's the one he's been looking for. Close up of Summer opening the door to the boardroom, about to come face to face with Tom for the first time. Narrator: This is a story of boy meets girl, but before they do, cuts to black. You should know up front, this is not a love story. So
And this is
yeah,
so important because this is again, it's a funny way to do that. Writer, and not only the writer tries to do something different, it's just something different to the audience too. Like,
mm,
okay, if you guys like anticipating some kind of a love story that at the end they both come together, that's gonna have happy ending, do not anticipate that, because this is not a love story. And this is actually like in a way, because like in a love story, in a romance, we have the happy ending, right? So we don't have the happy ending. We have some kind of a happy ending, but not in a way that we have
so
anticipated.
so would you say the writer's trying to tell the audience that,
Yes.
like, suggest to the audience that they're not gonna be in love together?
Yeah,
So,
I think
so
this line goes directly to the audience, because like they are like making ready them for something different, maybe something like that.
and maybe the curiosity is not what will happen, so will they get
Yeah.
together, but maybe it's more about how
How?
is this going to unfold?
Yeah, the story
Maybe,
of how that happens, exactly.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because
and
the
and they
narrator,
split the screen. I think that's another way, some kind of a creative thing to make it more interesting. So we have this split the screens. When we have this split screens, especially times between Tom and Summer, we are watching two lifestyles that have all that opposite belief. So
yeah,
in somehow it works like that.
yeah,
That's like a creative solution for it.
yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, this is such like a Woody Allen film. Like if you guys have seen Manhattan or Annie Hall, like the girl in this film, Summer, she's so
Yeah,
Diana
but
Keaton.
it's totally different, Ali. Wouldn't you say? I mean, like it's so creative and so personal and unique to Woody Allen. But if you like cut a part of it and bring it to something else, it wouldn't work like that.
No, no,
It wouldn't work like, because like I was watching. Did you see the film Husband and Wives by Woody Allen?
no. Wait. Um, no, I don't think so.
So you know what he does? He always plays with the fourth wall
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
in the art of storytelling and
yeah.
like story structure. So he uses this unique type of storytelling, and this is why that works, because we are demolishing the fourth wall in the beginning. But like
Mm,
if you chop that part and like put it somewhere else, it doesn't work like that.
I see what you mean. What do
Yeah,
you mean it doesn't work like that? And
yeah.
yeah, so say that again. Sorry. So what do you mean like how it the fourth wall doesn't work?
For example, for here,
Yeah.
it's not influential as it is in Annie Hall, as it is in Woody Allen films,
Right, right.
because like yeah, it's so
Yeah,
essential to Woody Allen's films, right?
it's
So,
yeah, it's his kind of thing.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Um, does anyone else have any other thoughts about this opening sequence before we move on to the next bit? Like, do you think it works? Do you think it's a good opening, or do you think we've said everything already?
I think it really works as an opening sequence because, like, I feel like I've not read a lot of scripts. I feel like out of the ones I've read, I don't think I've ever read one where so like immediately it just sets up like things like the theme, like the conflict, and just sets up the storyline
Does
so like well. But then I
does
also like wonder like is that like why if the opening works so well, or
yeah?
like is it necessary to always have to do that in a screenplay like is this what
Um,
everything should be striving for, to be able to set things up this perfectly like immediately?
I personally think so. I don't think you have to do it, but I think it's just easier to read if you make it this obvious and this straightforward from the start. For me, when I'm writing, I want it to be as crystal clear and obvious what the story is about, what the conflict is,
Yeah,
as good as they do it here. That this is what I
yeah.
strive towards, in my opinion.
You
And
want to do it like this? You want to has the exposition lines, or like do the exposition like this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I would necessarily have a narrator or anything, but the way it's written, the way it makes it
It's
really
clear.
obvious,
Yeah.
so clear, and I think that's so good because I read a lot of screenplays, and I do think it's a skill in itself to read a screenplay. You can read a really quote unquote great screenplay, but you can read it and find it really boring because it takes effort, I think. But this is so effortless to follow. So I agree with you, Randall. I think this is such a good screenplay to read, and I've read other screenplays and I've struggled to get through them,
Yes,
but this is quite an easy one.
yes, and there is the logic of the scene or scene order. Uh, the narrator of the writer present us Tom's situation, and
Hmm.
just after summer situation, you have I don't know how to say that, you have a mirror sense, mirror sense. Two sense have come together. Um, there is logic into this.
Yeah. So say that last bit again.
Yes, it was about the logic of the scene order on the screenplay. The writer present us some situation, and in the same way, just after he present us summer situation.
Yeah.
So it's very consistent.
Yes,
It's the way it's done.
it is, and that's important. That's important to have, of course. Um, to have, yeah, because like we were saying at the start, like we were thinking who the villain is. Maybe the Summer's the villain, but they're portrayed as two kind of main characters in this opening. So I don't think you're supposed to think she's the villain. I don't think she is the villain. And I think the opening does that really well. It kind of establishes that they're two normal characters and we're following them both. But it's through his perspective. I don't know if you were here, Randall, at the start of the call when we said um, it's interesting because the story's told from Tom's perspective throughout the film. It's only from his point of view, which I
Yeah.
think is quite interesting. So it's quite a subjective idea of who's right and who's wrong in the relationship.
Well, like my thing though about them both being main characters, neither of them being the villain. I do think that neither of them are the villain,
No,
but I
yeah,
do think that like we're made to sympathize more with Tom just because of the fact that it's from his perspective.
exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, you kind of feel a bit sorry for him at the end. Do you know what? We'll talk about the ending in a minute because I think there's a lot to discuss about that. So let's go on to the next scene. So the next scene. Oh
Yes,
yeah,
it's the follow-up of the red herring of the first blank page. Here we are again in the idea, oh, Summer is a bad girl, and the poor man will suffer a lot because of her, etc. But I think it's a good idea to put us in this situation of to prepare us to aid the girl when there is a reversal of this at the end at the end. Oh, but the writer made us follow a path that wasn't the right one. It's funny when it happened. In the end, Summer wasn't a bad woman at all. We were wrong, but why we were wrong? We were wrong because the damn writer made us wrong.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. You can tell absolutely. And yeah, you can tell the screenplay was written by a man as well from this opening bit as well. Um, Yeah, so the next bit is what you'd call the debate if you're following Save the Cat. It's like the debate part of the story, which most screenplays have. It's the moment where the character's debating if they should go left or they should go right. Like what's the right decision here? And the debate here, it's probably about 20 minutes into the film where they both are finally sat down in a bar talking to each other properly for the first time. But then this is where we learn that they're actually clashing because they're disagreeing on what love is, and this is literally what the debate is. Um, so Tom and Summer have a debate about love. Summer doesn't believe in love and declares it's all just fantasy. Tom believes otherwise. And I wanted to mention this scene because I wanted to tie this into the last scene of the film that we'll get to in a minute. So if we look on the script here, Summer says, let's have as much fun as we can afford and leave the serious shit for later. Tom says, but what if you meet someone and fall in love? She laughs. Love? You seriously believe in that stuff? Of course I do. Interesting. A real romantic. Oh, you have, and then that his friend was there. Oh, you have no idea. This one, embarrassing. There was this one girl, and then to Tom, I gotta tell you, I gotta tell the story. Tom elbows him hard in the ribs to shut him up. Tom, Summer, hold on. You don't believe in love? And then Summer says, I don't even know what that word means. I know I've never felt it, whatever it is in all those songs. And I know that today most marriages end in divorce, like my parents. Tom, well, mine too, but. Oh, yeah, and I read in Newsweek there were these scientists who found that by stimulating a part of the brain with electrodes, you can make a person fall in love with a rock. Is that the love you're talking about? And Tom's like, well, so Tom is trying to argue his point, but clearly she has such a strong argument
Yeah.
against love, and that's kind of where the conflict starts building in the scene, and it's from
Yeah.
the debate. So yeah, I really like this scene. I thought to mention this because then this will tie in to the end scene. So yeah, this is page 32. So by 30 minutes in, we're like really establishing what the conflict is. And then it goes full circle because right at the end of the film, they're talking to each other, and it feels like they've completely flipped their opinions on this. So at the start of the film, on page 30, he believes in love, she does not. And then at the end of the film, where we're going back to the very first scene again, like this, she's now married and he's heartbroken because obviously he's not with her. And now he's the one that doesn't believe in romance and love, and she does. And I just find that really interesting how it goes full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shall I read through the pages quick and then we can discuss? So I think this is such a well-written scene. That's why I put both pages on. So they're sat together at the bench, and Summer's like, "I, Tom," and Tom's like, "What? Tell me." And then she's explaining like how she fell in love, and she says, "I woke up one day and I knew I could promise him I'd feel the same way every morning, in a way that I never could with you." And it's not much else to say after that. Tom gets up to leave, and Tom says, you know what sucks? Realizing that everything you believe everything you believe in is complete bullshit. What is? Destiny, soulmates, true love, all that stuff. It's nothing more than silly childhood fairy tale nonsense, isn't it? So Tom here is completely disregarding his beliefs at the start of the film. Tom don't go, I should have listened to you, Summer. You were right all along. Summer takes a beat to let this hang there. I was right. And then she starts laughing, and Tom's like, "What? Why is this funny? What are you laughing at?" She can't stop laughing. She's lost control. Tom, you're a crazy person. Tom, you're the crazy person. What are you talking about? One day, I'm reading a book at the corner deli, and this guy sits down and starts asking about it. Now he's my husband. This is funny to you? What would have happened if I went to the movies instead? If I went somewhere else for lunch? If I showed up to eat 10 minutes later? Tom, it was meant to be, just like you said. And as it was happening, I knew it. I could feel it, sure as the sun. And I kept thinking to myself, holy shit, Tom was right. You were right about all of it. It just wasn't me you were right about. I just love that. So they've both gone on this journey, but her journey is her figuring out that love does exist, and this is kind of her character arc coming to an end. This bit, which is why this scene works so well, because she's closing her character arc, and he's kind of, you think, closing his character arc, going the other way. But there's one more scene after this, isn't there? That concludes it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like this scene. I think this works so well. Does anyone have any other thoughts about this?
Yeah, I believe like this is like the best form of storytelling.
Mm.
So we start the story with the unbalanced world, Like we have Tom that is so romantic, and we have someone that doesn't believe in love, and then in the ending we have both of them balanced in a way.
Yeah.
So Tom is not has grown personally, so he's not that hopeless romantic, kind of a immature kind of person, and Summer is not that like a cold-hearted, I don't believe in love kind of person. So
Mm,
you start the story with the world that you build, and you end it with another one that is new and different. And
yeah,
the best
absolutely.
way to do that is by characterization and personal growth, and like these amazing 3D characters that they change along the story. And I believe this is like the magic of storytelling, like
Oh,
great characters and how they change in the story.
it's all about the characters. No matter
Yeah,
what
it's
genre
all
you
about
write in,
characters.
it's all
Exactly.
about the characters. Always think about
Yes.
the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, really well said. That's why I think the screenplay is really good because it's focusing so much on the characters more than
Yeah.
the plot.
I mean,
You know,
like
the
I
plot.
love the structure. I love the structure, and I believe like this is all we should all thrive for. Like this is
Absolutely.
how you want to be so clear and vivid and interesting.
You can
But at the
have
same
such a.
time, it can be like funny and like
Mm.
I believe it's a funny screenplay, and I think like
Where's the
yeah.
funny in it though? Where's the comedy in your opinion throughout the script?
The most of the comedy is the expectations. So, for example, because we see the inner life of Tom, and we know that how in most of the time he's been so subject and selfish about himself.
Hmm.
I
Selfish.
mean, yeah, because like I've seen in some scenes that I would say, for example, that Summer is right. I would see that like it's hard so much. I believe that everyone, because especially you are guys here, all of us, we have been in time that we were in love with the wrong person, right? So it's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
hard. But if you look at it in a bird's eye view, if you look at it at far away, it's not that complicated. I mean, like what Summer says, I'm just not the right person for you.
yeah.
So actually,
That's-
what will happen if they would get married? They would have a miserable life, right?
Yeah.
Maybe something really, but like in a way, Tom grows. In a way, he grows as a person. He gets out of a job, that daunting job of
Yes.
writing
You don't like the job.
cards, and he goes for his true passion to become an architect. So I believe, and Summer, she believes in love. She believes that she can be committed. She believes that she can be someone else's husband. So
Yeah. They
well,
both learn stuff. They both change. They both
yeah,
realize things. Um, and like you're saying, the plot doesn't have to be complicated. It could be a really
yeah,
straightforward plot, but if the characters are going on a journey and they're learning something, then it could be as interesting as anything to watch.
yeah.
Um, and the final scene, which I don't have here, but the final scene after this is the Tom is in a room waiting, and then
Yes,
there's a
yeah,
girl,
he's waiting for job interview.
a job interview, and there's a pretty girl sat opposite him, and they kind of
What's
look
that?
at each other and they smile at each other, and that's where it ends, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, they smile at each other, and like they have this funny moment when he says, "Oh, you're my what
Competition.
competition." Yeah, and like they talk about, and he asked her out for coffee, and he likes, "What's your name?" And she says, "I'm Autumn."
Yes.
So this is what
Awesome.
summer, and then like, and like I believe like we can have a. This is like another creative thing from the writer. They have the anticipation that he maybe even goes through something like summer, because like
Yeah.
he needs to go all the seasons, or maybe he needs to find a season that fits him. So he could
Mm.
go for autumn and like I don't know, like winter and the spring, like
Very
so.
metaphorical.
Yeah, it's a metaphor thing. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's interesting.
Yeah. Did you guys like that ending with him ending up talking to this other woman and
So,
her name's
because it's kind
Autumn?
of a happy ending, but in a different way, happy
Mm.
ending.
Because just very quickly, because if the film ends on this scene, I think it won't satisfy the audience. I think we'll be left feeling a bit unsatisfied that he doesn't get some. But that last scene, I
Yeah,
feel like it's good. It's bringing hope and it's telling us that he's learning a lesson. That do you know what? Like life moves on. Like you move forward, you move on to the
yeah,
next thing, like the next season, as you say, Saeed. And that's a great note to finish the film on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, I love the happy ending. And you mentioned the screenplay qualities, or the character change, etc. And of course, I'm agree. Uh, what I see here, it's why the movie strike right. It's because it relates to true human experience. I'm sure when you see this story, I'm almost sure you live it, something like that. You were in love with a woman, but she was hard and harsh and not the same value, but you can do nothing because you are in love. So you hope desperately to do something, but it doesn't work. Or maybe as well you could be in the summer situation. There is a girl who really love you, on okay, uh, you have a relationship with her, but uh, you think maybe, maybe I could marry her because she's really a good girl, but you don't believe it sincerely. So it's a movie that strike to the heart of human experience, and it's I watched it. Oh, I was thinking, oh yes, so the movie directly speak to me. It's not just a question of mastery about thematic, screenplay, character, scene, etc. It talk about true human experience. So it's what I like so much the movie on it conclude in a beautiful way.
Absolutely, well said. Did this screenplay win an Oscar? Do we know? Because I think this is a
No.
really good. Did you say
No.
yes?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying I'm not sure if it did win anything.
No. Let me tell you.
Have a look.
Yeah.
Whilst you check, sorry, I just want to quickly say, you know, on the other day on the community, we were talking about how Hollywood is crumbling. But this is one of the few times I would say Hollywood produced something actually unique and something a bit different. It's one of the few times Holly's actually told a story instead of just a situation. You know, it's a love story, but it's told in a unique way. And this is how you break into the industry. You tell a story that we've seen before, but you tell it from your perspective, your unique way, a way that we've not seen before. And this screenplay, in my opinion, does that perfectly.
So I'm checking. So it didn't have any place on the Academy,
Oh,
but it had 17 wins and 58 nominations.
but what? Wow, 17 wins. What, for the actual film?
Yeah, like different things, like the best editing screenplay, actor, the best comedy movie, um, most promising filmmaker from Chicago Film Critics Association, different things. It it even went to Locarno Film Festival,
Nice.
nominated for a Piazza Grand Award. Yeah,
Mm,
but not in the Academy. No, nothing
that's
there.
that's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe 2008 was a competitive year, maybe. I don't know. Um, So yeah, I that's all. That's everything I had to say about this. The last slide was just asking you guys, you know, overall, do you think this is a good screenplay? If you can give it out of 5 stars, what rating would you give this screenplay out of 5?
5.
5, yes, Randall, me too.
Really? Out of five?
Yeah, the
I mean, like as a compared to other screenplays?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like one.
For for this genre, I think it's as good as anything else out there.
I
I
don't
mean,
even
like
think
if you talk about if you're talking about romance, maybe I
A
would say
rom-com.
like maybe one and a half.
1.5.
I feel
Yeah.
like without comparing it to like other genres or just other good screenplays, just I feel like it can stand just on its own. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's like, I wouldn't say there's anything wrong with it. I don't know. I know nothing's perfect, but like, I don't know.
No, I hear
It
you.
was
Like,
really easy to read. It actually really was. Like, it was
Yeah,
enjoyable to read.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
like
agree
the
with you,
page.
yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed the pagecraft. Yeah,
yeah,
Uh,
it
uh,
pagecraft.
was.
as a screenplay, I give it 5 out of 5. Um, you see the action line. I know there is a strange situation at the start. I talked about that already, but when you read more, action line are short, precise, and it doesn't waste time. And the dialogue also are punchy. Uh, Everything is so clear and easy to read. And
Yeah.
the story is interesting too. But just screenplay, it's the best.
Wow. Okay. Because of everything, because of the action lines. I was just looking here, the action lines, most of them are just one lines, aren't they?
Yes,
Singular lines.
yeah, and you have action line giving the visuals, but often you have a short supplement adding line. I have example in mind, but I don't remember the page. It give also the mood or something else about the feeling. If you read, you can see that often.
Hmm.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. It's so easy to read, and we get all. You see, you don't spend a ton of time on description about the place or many details you don't really need.
Yeah.
It goes straight to the point.
Yeah.
I really like the screenplay. Well,
Yeah. So yeah.
Um, and it would be interesting to you to know that in 2008 we had movies like No Country for Old Men. We had There Will Be Blood. We had um,
That was a tough year, actually. Was
yes,
that the same
that
year
was an
then? Was that
amazing year actually. We had we had Juno, if I'm not mistaken.
Juno? Yes,
Yeah,
Juno.
Taxi, The Dark Side, like um oh the we had for the short film we had the Mozart of Pickpockets. I know I don't know if you have seen the film or not.
No, no, I've not seen that.
It's an amazing short film.
No.
And we had Atonement. So
Mm,
yeah,
that's good. So it was a
we
good year
had The
then.
Bourne Ultimatum. So we had amazing films that year. 2008 was a great year.
And do you know what I've heard from different people? Like, obviously, it's just an opinion, but when we're talking about how Hollywood has been crumbling and going downhill, people often pinpoint 2008 as the last good year. After that year, that's where it
Wow.
starts declining. That's what people say when I read about it.